The sun beat down on the valley of Elah as two armies stood facing each other. On one side were the Philistines. On the other stood Israel. Between them, fear hung heavy in the air. Every morning and every evening, a giant named Goliath stepped forward from the Philistine camp. He was massive, his armor gleaming bronze, his spear thick and heavy, his voice deep and terrifying. For 40 days, he mocked Israel. "Choose a man to fight me," he roared. "If he defeats me, we will serve you. But if I defeat him, you will serve us." King Saul and the soldiers of Israel trembled. Not one man dared to move. One day, a young shepherd named David arrived at the battlefield. He had been sent by his father to bring food to his older brothers. He was not a soldier. He wore no armor. He carried no sword. But when he heard the giant's insults, his heart burned within him. David asked the men around him, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" David's question revealed what others had forgotten. David was circumcised. In his body, he bore the sign of the covenant God had made with Abraham generations before. That covenant was a sacred promise. "I will be your God, and you will be my people." Circumcision was not just a ritual. It was a mark of belonging, a reminder of divine protection, a seal of God's faithfulness. David understood that he stood in that covenant. Goliath did not. Goliath was uncircumcised. He did not share in the promises given to Abraham. He had strength, weapons, and experience, but he did not have covenant with the living God. While the soldiers of Israel saw a giant too big to fight, David saw a man outside the covenant of God. When Saul heard of David's boldness, he summoned him. David declared that the Lord who had delivered him from the paw of the lion and the bear would deliver him from this Philistine. Saul tried to dress David in royal armor, but David removed it. He had not tested it. He would not rely on what he did not trust. Instead, he took his staff, his sling, and chose 5 smooth stones from a nearby brook. As David approached, Goliath laughed in contempt. "Am I a dog, that you come to me with sticks?" he shouted, cursing the young boy. But David stood firm and answered, "You come to me with a sword, a spear, and a javelin. But I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand." Then David ran toward the giant. He placed a stone in his sling, swung it with skill born from shepherd fields, and released it. The stone flew through the air and struck Goliath squarely on the forehead. The giant staggered and fell face down to the ground. Silence filled the valley. The shepherd boy had defeated the warrior, not because he was stronger, not because he was better armed, but because he knew who he belonged to. David stood in covenant. Goliath did not. And that day, Israel learned that the power of God's promise is greater than the strength of any giant.